listening to my favorite talk show, The Weekly Show with Aditya.
On this beautiful Wednesday morning, on the 27th of October 2021. This is episode 435 on this beautiful Wednesday morning. Now, visualize a noisy corridor. This corridor is jam packed with crash carts and stretchers and all kinds of commotion. There is commotion as people in white coats run from one room to the other. And then enters our protagonist. Limping on one leg with a cane in one hand and a cell phone in the other, he storms into a room. Eight pairs of eyes stare into his soul with a disgusting look. He picks up a water balloon and aims for one of his colleagues, who ducks as it hits the wall with a splat. Rules don't bother him. Relationships go by him, yet he has an uncanny knack of interpreting situations in an avant garde style. This individual has a flair for the dramatic, and peers often label him a maverick and nonconformist. Not only that, he's nosy and loves to interfere in his colleagues' personal life. He loves a mystery not only about what his patients do, but he loves a mystery about his colleagues' life. He wants to interfere, he wants to know what they are doing because he feels he is included in that way. He is a maverick and a non-conformist. So, can anyone guess who is this mysterious person? Anyone? Anyone who is listening to this broadcast can guess who is this mysterious person? Once again, a reminder, he he has an uncanny knack of interpreting situations in an avant-garde style. The individual has a flair for the dramatic, and peers often label him a maverick and a non-conformist. And he is nosy and loves a mystery about his colleagues' behavior and personal life. So now, can anyone guess as to who is this mysterious person? No, no one. This is Dr. House, the popular fictional protagonist of the medical drama Dr. House. Dr. House and his colleagues encounter strange cases where they must use outlandish ways to help their patients, which means disagreements about certain procedures which are balanced between the ethical and the unethical. So, what to do in this situation where there are disagreements about certain procedures which are balanced between the ethical and the unethical? To counter these situations, we need someone who can send the right message. What is that message? As I said, there is no room to think about those procedures. You have to decide which one is the best, even if it means having to balance between the ethical and the unethical, and most of the time bordering on the unethical or using outlandish and avant-garde methods to help patients. House's communication style is aggressive, direct, and dominating, which means he expects his team to be result oriented. His communication and leadership styles are unorthodox, but at the same time effective. And how does that work? Often he ignores one of the team members, as I if you remember, as I said, he had stormed into a room. Eight pairs of eyes were looking at him in disgust, and he wanted to hit one of them with a balloon. That's his style of saying hello to his team or his colleagues. So, how does his communication style work? Which is aggressive, direct, dominating, and he expects his team to be result oriented. By ignoring one team member's diagnosis and giving preference to the other, he pushes his team to color outside the line, which leads to birthing of new ideas. His colleagues do not agree with his methods, but because he has experience, he knows how to counter such dramatic situations, difficult situations. They team up with him, which means he doesn't have friends because of his aggressive, direct, and dominating communication styles. So he's not able to communicate to them outside the profession as a friend, and that's what sometimes puts him in trouble, but that's for a later day. This may look intimidating and aggressive, but in situations where a life is at stake, there's no time to be supportive and democratic. You need to have results, and for that, we need an individual who can lead by example. And if this affects personal and professional relationships, it doesn't matter in such critical situations. Welcome back after the break, and now let's take a further look at the 20 over World Championship. This tournament now into its full week, which started last week on the 23rd of October, and we are only 4 days into the championship, and it's looking like one of the teams is sure to make it to the semi-finals, and one team is looking like they will be knocked out. Which is the team that will be knocked out? They are the former champions, two-time champions, and they have lost two out of two games. And if you have to reach the semi-finals of this particular tournament, there are no quarterfinals and there is no breathing space in between. So if you have to reach the semi-finals of the tournament, you have to win 3 out of the 5 games that you are available. And West Indies have lost 2 of the 2 games, their first 2 games, close games, but not enough. And then there's the other side. One of the teams has won 2 out of 2. Yes, everyone is praising them for their effort, but sometimes luck plays a huge role in these situations. So, how is the tournament stacked? Now, the tournament is scheduled in such a way that by the time India plays its second match, the team which has won 2 out of 2 may go on to win the third match and secure a place in the semi final, which puts pressure on other teams in that group, that is Afghanistan, New Zealand, India, Scotland, Namibia, and you might expect that Scotland and Namibia will win matches against each other, but they may not have a chance as far as going up against Afghanistan or India is concerned. Well, it's a big deal for them to be in such a situation, having qualified through the qualifiers and worked very hard to come through to this stage, and that's what it is about. And the disrespect that we have for teams like Namibia, Scotland, or any other team who have qualified for this particular tournament. And then, can there be a world tournament without controversies? I won't go into the detail of the controversies because that's just not how it works. But let's look at why the controversies happen. It's a directive of the team management versus the personal thought of the player versus the thoughts of an entire group or community, and the expectations from athletes to live up to the expectations of and the demands of certain groups, and that always can foster some kind of disagreements. Are they good? Well, that depends on what the disagreement was about. What was the disagreement about? Well, you can look up in pseudo media as well as print and electronic media, because that's something which can be debated for a long time. But let's take a look at India's match, which is this Sunday, this coming Sunday, that is just a couple of days from today, to be exact, 3 days from today. And what should be the team, who should not play, who should play. So let's decipher the team 11 again. So Rahul and Rohit are my openers. Kohli at number 3, and then Sky, and then a choice between Pant and Ishan Kishan. Pandya definitely plays. Jadeja also doesn't miss out. So this makes 6, top 6. And then come the question over who should be the bowlers, because I would still feel we can have a couple of good bowlers in the team. I would go with Shadul, I would go with so six players who should be the next there. That's an interesting dilemma because it's Rahul, Rohit, Kohli, Suryakumar, Pant, or Kishan, Pandya, and Jadeja. That makes it six players. Then I would go with Thakur at number seven, Ashwin at number eight. And that makes it three all rounders, Shami and Bumrah at number 9 and 10, and then a choice between Chahar and Varun Chakravarti. It's an interesting team, may not be the best team, but it's good because we have Jadeja, Thakur, Ashwin, Shami, Bumrah, Chahar, or Varun as the bowler. So that makes it Rahul, Rohit, Kohli, a choice between Pant and Ishan Kishan at number 4, Pandya at number 5, Jadeja at 6, Thakur at 7, Ashwin at 8, Shami Bumrah at 9 and 10, and then a choice between Chahar and Varun. May not be the best team, but it is a complete team. Yes, what we are missing, of course, we are missing a left arm fast bowler. That's true, but we have couple of left-handed batters, we have a left-arm spinner, and then three spinners, three fast bowlers, and then one hopes that Pandya can bowl 2 overs, and also Rohit can contribute. I think Rohit should bowl whether he has a shoulder issue or not. For me, Rohit Sharma should bowl in this situation. So Rohit and Pandya, maybe 1 over each. Jadeja, Thakur, Ashwin, Shami, Bumrah, Chahar, or Varun, one of them, and that makes it for a complete team. That is good unless you remove Sky, have Pant and Kishan and an extra bowler. That won't work. And then someone like Pant, Sky, and Kishan can come in number 3 if needed and accelerate, and Kohli can come in number 5 because that also works. And yet, is this a perfect team? Yes. There are players in the reserves. There are a couple of what one calls the net bowlers. You can keep questioning how do you decide between net bowlers and reserve. There are a couple of good reserves waiting in the wings, good all rounders in Akshar Patel and Deepak Chahar. We can wait on that, but what I would want is Ashwin to open the bowling along with Bumrah, or and then after and then Ashwin opens the bowling as teams have done, and then let's see what happens. Okay, the first loss was against someone with whom we have a strange relationship at levels you don't want to talk about, but I think that's done. It's something that's done. Yes, a 6 day break can have a negative impact, a positive impact, that we will know once the tournament begins. So let's see what happens as this tournament progresses. It looks as if one team could be knocked out if West Indies don't win at least 2 of their next 3 matches. Minimum, in fact, they have to win all the remaining 3 matches, that is against Australia and couple of other teams, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka. So they have to win the remaining matches. They have to beat Bangladesh, they have to beat Sri Lanka, and they have to beat one more team. So and Australia. So 3 big teams they have to defeat, and Namibia is also there. So interest, they have lost to England and they have lost to South Africa. That leaves Australia, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, and Namibia. Let's presume they beat Namibia, but against Australia, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh. It will be a tough nut to crack. It's not as if I think West Indies has been hyped up as a team over the past few years of sixes and fours and whatnot. I think that's something we have to have a relook at. I think it's they have been hyped beyond the hype that is needed for that team, and this kind of a hype has to be relooked at. But we'll talk about that in the next episode as the matches progress, as we go into the details of the matches. So this is my team. Once again, Rahul Rohit, open Kohli at 3 or Suryakumar Yadav at 3. A choice between Pant and Kishan, or they can ask Rahul to open and have a batter, but who is the batter remaining? They don't have too many batters if you look at the team. So Pant or Kishan have to play, and one of them will be the wicket keeper. So Rahul, Rohit, Kohli, Sky, Pant or Kishan as a wicket keeper. I don't mind who it is because Kishan can open if needed. Rohit can come to number 4 if needed. Kohli can open if needed. Rahul opens. Pandya plays because then there are not too many options. We cannot have too many bowlers. So 5 and 6, Pandya and Jadeja. You may say Thakur is coming at 7 too early, but that's the nature of the team. That's the team that has been selected. I was never happy with the team that was selected by the selectors. It was very poorly thought of. They should have been more mature about selection, but that's done. That happened 1 month ago, and we can question that there is no Yuzvendra Chahal or no Kuldeep Yadav or couple of left arm fast bowlers, but we'll see. Who knows? There are a couple of net bowlers there, Venkatesh Iyer or someone, but that rarely happens unless there's a bad injury. If Pandya is injured, I would slot Iyer in his place if needed. So not Shreyash Iyer, but Venkatesh Iyer, right from a net batter to immediately giving him a debut. If Pandya doesn't play, I would have Iyer in the team. So we would have Iyer, Jadeja, Thakur, Ashwin, Shami, Bumrah, Cheher, or Varun Chakravarti as the bowlers. Perfect team, and hopefully Rohit can also bowl. So that becomes a perfect team. And let's see what happens. So this ends episode number 435 on the 27th of October on this beautiful Wednesday morning for the year 2021, as only just over 2 months remain to the end of 2021, and of course stay tuned for the next episode.
For more awesome content, tune in to the next episode of the Weekly Show.
And I will be back on Friday, the 29th of October 2021, with episode number 436 at our regular broadcast time of 10 a.m. IST. And while you wait, you can purchase the book The Fifth Empire if you are a sports fanatic. It's available on Amazon in the e-book format. If you are interested in cinema, TV shows, theater, and such kind of creative productions, you can purchase the book Beyond the TV 33 Cinematic Productions that transform the silver screen, available on Amazon in the e-book and paperback format. And if you are interested in stories, short stories, long form, short form, you can purchase the book, The Complete Collected Short Stories, available on Amazon in the e-book format. And while you wait to purchase these books, which you should also like and subscribe to this channel. I repeat once again, like and subscribe to the channel to get more updates about future episodes and to know what all transpired in the previous episodes.